On this episode, we're talking fresh wort kits and our Necatron XPA. We compare the beer to a commercial equivalent, kind of. Mismatch session now, have some fun drinking beers. This is Yeah, Beer and That.
Check.
I hate that I can see myself. I can see how round I am now. It's like the fucking...
Maybe we should throw the monitor against the wall. I'll fix it. Hello and welcome to another... What are we calling it? Episode?
Yeah, just another episode. Another level.
Another sitting.
Yeah.
Another sitting. Sorry about my snorting. How are you, mate?
I'm happier now. I'm happy now that I got some homebrewed beer in front of me.
It's holidays. It's holiday season.
It's one of those weird days. What are we sitting at? I don't like dating him all the time, but then I date every
End of
single
December before New Year.
Yeah.
After Christmas.
After Christmas, before
Yeah,
New
you
Year.
pick a date. Yeah. Work it out.
Yeah, going good, mate. I've been an almost seasoned home brewer, but I've had so many problems getting through this beer and getting it into the glass. Even today, and we'll go through that later. Well, we'll go through the list of issues. But what I would like to tell you, Andrew, is this is our Necatron XPA fresh wort kit. There you go.
What? Hang on. I've been meaning to ask you this. What's Necatron?
Necatron, it's actually Nectaron. It's a New Zealand hop.
Yeah. So is this a different wort kit from...
Still all in brewing code.
So it is all in brewing code. Right.
They have like all these XPA kits, and all they are, as far as I can tell, it's all the exact same XPA wort. But if it's a Necatron XPA, they tell you to dry hop it with Necatron hops, and if it's a Mosaic XPA, I kind of like that as well. That it's slightly experimental.
Yeah, but do you find that you've done a couple? Do you find that they're tasting the same, and you're only getting change on the aroma due to the dry hop?
I've done now
Whereas
two
the wort,
XPAs.
do you think their wort is different as well?
The wort should be different. So we've done and tasted a red IPA, an American IPA, and now the Nectaron or Necatron. I like calling it Necatron just because it annoyed my son so much. Yeah. But we'll soon find out because the Mosaic is getting cold crashed today, and I am highly suspect that the XPA wort is all the same. Okay. The only difference being the finishing hop that we would have to dry hop with. So we'll be able to test it afterwards.
Why don't you swap them? See what happens.
I can.
Use the Mosaic and the Necatron.
Yeah.
Even.
Yeah.
See what that tastes like.
We should do that.
Or ask
next
them.
time. Yeah.
What the recipe is.
We could ask them as well, yeah. They've been pretty open and free with all of their information and stuff. They've been really good.
Well, this is a delightful looking beer, isn't it? Like aesthetically, what a lovely looking beer. It's
the nose on this
is amazing.
You will notice there is a couple of little flecks in there.
Yeah, I see that.
And I'll explain what that is.
Yep.
There is some hop debris and some trub in the keg.
Yep.
And I'll explain the issues.
Okay.
Have a sip. Tell me what do you taste, mouthfeel, nose, the whole lot.
Oh, it's lovely and bitter. Lovely and piney, like that piney bitterness you can get. I love that. Mouthfeels thin to medium mouthfeel.
I said medium on this.
Medium,
It wasn't for a session start. This is 4.7%, by the way.
I was expecting a little bit thicker due to the aroma on the nose and due to the beer in the glass. It's definitely not see-through, that's for sure. It's a golden. Yeah, yours looks a bit clearer. Whether I got a bit different out of the keg, see that, or you've got less in your glass, I don't know.
Second pour. So mine was the first.
Because yours
pour.
is clearer. Maybe it's just my angle, marginally. But yeah, if you blind that and swigged it, I'd think it would be a bit clearer. Would be a bit. But yes, it's a lovely colour. It's golden beer colour, isn't it? Like
this is a Dulux beer commercial.
Yeah.
Even the head, like I know the head coming out of the when I first served it to you was nice and thick and full. It does dissipate, but it keeps that nice.
Yeah, but it held. Yeah, see the ring.
Yeah. The carbonation's bang on where I want it to be as well for a session style beer. I don't know. I think we talked about fresh wort kits.
Carbonation was lovely.
Yeah, that's
perfect.
All I do carbonation wise 10 psi for 5 days, and I serve at 10 psi. That's it.
Yeah, okay.
So
all right.
some people force carb at
I remember
40 psi.
Yeah.
No, I literally put
I'll try that when I do one next week, I hope.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I'll try that.
And I just find if you want it, like, we kind of want it to sit for a few days anyway, because when I do a fresh work kit, I do everything as soon as I possibly can. So when it stops fermenting, diet rest, cold crash within 24 hours, straight to keg. So by the time it gets in the keg, it's normally only 10 days from pitching the yeast. And if you put it on that 10 psi, then you're at least waiting 5 more days before you actually take your first sip and pour. So this is probably 17, 18, maybe 19 days since the yeast was pitched.
Yeah, okay.
So we're starting to, in my opinion, starting to get it at its like, early 20s, ready to be pregnated.
Yeah, perfect.
Um,
and if it's... How long can you leave that in keg?
fairly long.
So if we were here this time next month, we could pour it, you think?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It wouldn't,
I wouldn't, like, after, I've noticed probably, not that we've experimented too bad, but maybe after about 3 months, I start to tell with a fresh IPA, it starts to taste dull.
Yeah,
and that's, making sure there's no oxygen, all the seals are good, keeping the CO2 up. But, it's really hard to get a perfectly oxygen-free beer sometimes. So after that length of time, it starts to, show. But, talking about lagering, we did like proper lagers on a few beers, which was, 3 months in the keg before we even tried to taste it, So it depends on the beer. But this kind of session, you want those hops, like
fresh.
And in your face.
Yeah, definitely.
I described it as a juice box, like a kid's fruit box almost on the nose.
On the nose. I thought you meant taste.
It's pretty fruity and like juicy on the taste as well.
Yeah.
It's bitter, so that's why I don't
Yeah. It's just it's piney, that resiny sort of.
Yeah, it's a lovely New Zealand hop, the Necatron.
but really clean without going to like skunky. Like it's not skunky.
Everything about this is still
on the nose. You don't get that skunky sort of dope smell or anything.
Super approachable. I actually put this down. I actually liken this to the early days of the mismatched session ale, which is why I've got a mismatched pale ale here. Maybe we'll try it in a little bit. Because, do you remember, because it was like 10 odd years ago than when the mismatched session ale first came out?
Yeah.
And since then, we've had like 80 iterations.
Yeah.
It's really a straw colour now.
Yeah, it's dialed
really
back big
watery.
time.
Yeah, but like early days, I feel like this was real similar. Like
that's a really, really,
Does that...
really good comparative beer. I love that. I actually hadn't had session ale in a while, and on Christmas morning, the drive-thru was open, and I went to buy a carton. The only reason I didn't of the mismatched session was because the Stone and Wood Pacific Ale was $10 cheaper a carton because it was on special.
Oh,
that'll be my Christmas
beer. Every time.
Yeah. It was $85 a carton, but the other one was $75, so I went for that.
That's not bad. That's really good.
Not too bad. Yeah.
So, Simo, should we talk about what the fresh work kit is? I actually just saw we're supposed to be having a chat with a guy called CJ, but he has a YouTube channel called Fair Drinkum. He's having a bit of a go.
Fair Drinkum, that's really good.
I like that. He's having a bit of a go about fresh work kits.
Okay.
I couldn't disagree with him more about why he thought they were. He said his words were they're a cop out, and I just want to explain why they're not or they shouldn't be. Because first of all a fresh work kit is a brewer has mashed some grain for you, taken that lovely wort, boiled it, and told you there you go, ready to go. Which is exactly what liquid malt extract is.
Yeah.
That's just been boiled down to, I think, to remove 80% of the liquid, right?
Yep.
So you're left is with 20% liquid, the rest is
just the extract.
Is technically a fresh work kit.
Yeah.
And dry malt extract is just dehydrated LNG, right? So in my head, I didn't really understand what he meant by it was a cop out, and I wanted to speak to him about it. So we'll speak to him about him another time.
Of course.
But they're all kind of fresh work kits, and in my opinion, this is just a fresh work kit that tastes better, so you don't have to do much to it to make it taste really good. So, But look, this to make this, we get 15-litre fresh work kit, put it in the fermenter, top it up with 5 litres of double filtered chilled water.
Yeah.
Pitch some healthy yeast. That's it.
What yeast did you use for this?
US 05. I've just been doing 05s lately.
Yeah.
I actually had a bit of an issue with my mosaic. I went with the Mangrove Jack's West Coast.
Okay.
And I think I got a dud batch of the West Coast. So what I did was I got some trusty USO5 out. It was about 2-3 days after I pitched the yeast on the mosaic. I wasn't getting any action out of the bubbler. Checked the fermenter. Everything was tight. All the seals were good. So I was like, fuck, what's going on? Got my USO5, pitched it, and within 12 hours it was gone. So there was something wrong with that Mangrove Jack's yeast, which is not normal. I love that yeast. But with this one, 20 degrees, set the fermenter at. Mm-hmm. Fermented it out. 4-day dry hop with Necatron hops. Cold crashed it 1 degree. Chucked it into the fermenter, right? The keg. Now, when I racked it into the keg, what I said was... Sorry, just double check something. What I said was... what I noticed was that I pulled in some hop debris and yeast troop. And I was like, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I've never had an issue with this before because I just chill it and serve it later.
Yeah, yeah.
And I found when I was trying to taste this for the first time I had my Pluto gun, nothing was coming out. It's like, what's going on? Cleared my keg post 3 times of the hop debris, right? And then I was like, okay, I've got to fix this somehow. So my dip tube, all I did was I bent it a little bit more so it wasn't taking off right at the bottom.
Yeah.
But when I did that, because I was like, there couldn't be that much hop debris or tube in there, right? So when this was the 4th time I went to go do that. When I undid the keg post, there was barely any hot matter left in there. So I was like, fuck, if I probably just did it one more time, it'd be fine. But now it's pouring really nice, but there is a couple of those little flakes in there. I'm guessing that's a little bit of, I don't see any in yours, but I'm guessing...
A couple of little bits.
Oh, is it? That's
but
just yeast, dead yeast.
Yep.
I don't think it's called Lees. Is it with beer?
Not sure.
Wine? But anyway. That's just because when I was not paying full attention when I was racking from fermented to keg.
It's homebrew, mate.
Yeah.
That's homebrewed.
Still really clear, really delicious, really super easy drinking.
It is really... What's the ABV, do you know?
Mm-hmm. So the kit was 1060, right? At 15 litres.
Yeah.
There's an online calculator with Brewer's Friend, which tells you that if you've got 1060 at 15 litres,
yep.
you add 5 litres of liquor.
Yep. Liquor or liquid?
Liquor. The water for brewing is called liquor.
Liquor, okay, right.
So it's just, double chilled to water. That will give you a 1045 OG. Right?
Okay.
So they give you a calculator. And this went down to about 1008.
Yeah.
So I think this is 4.7%.
Yep. It's a lovely sessionable beer, that.
I should really work that out, but I can't be bothered. And it's about 5%, 4.5% to 5% anyway. It doesn't really matter. Like, it's just, I've got 20 litres there.
Perfect.
And it's pouring really nice.
I can't believe you haven't finished it yourself already. It's going that well.
Well,
that's lovely.
It's one of those things, like to get back into brewing, to kick all this off again, I bought a fresh work kit to just, all right, now something's in the fermenter and bubbling.
Yep.
And then I started doing some all grains again and some kits and bits and some stuff like that. And I miss my all grain brewing, but
time.
I don't have 4 hours.
Yeah.
I don't have, and because I haven't got my full kit, like I had a lovely 3-vessel setup. Do you remember that? Like I had the hot liquor tank, then I had a mash tun, and we recirced the work.
Yes.
Through, I think it's called a rim system or a Herms system.
Yeah.
Where we recirculated the work through an urn to hold temperature, but also continuously boil off. And then we would
while you told me, I was trying to remember the word for bringing it back around and rinsing or whatever.
Just clarifying. Vorlaughing.
That's right.
And then we would rack to the kettle. And then batch sparge and do the whole thing, and we'd roll off as we batch sparge. So we always made this wicked beer.
Yeah.
But the system was so good that it was easy to do. Right now, I've got 1 vessel and a brew in a bag.
Yeah.
So brewing all grain, 1, isn't as fun. 2, it makes so much more mess. And 3, it doesn't make the quality of beer that I'm used to. It does, Look, I've still made great beer with the system, but I am fastidious.
Yeah.
And I like my beer to be 45 to 50 out of 50, beer.
Yeah.
And I've just found that I'm making silly mistakes, doing things not exactly correctly with my current setup because I can't.
Because you can't. I think it's great that you can get that quality with less time. because that at the moment time poor, and not having the setup, and you'll get there once you get things set up.
Yeah.
You'll get back to what you were doing and making really great all grain beer and stuff. But yeah, surprising the cop out. You know, like I get that with some people that will, you know.
I know what he's saying.
I can understand.
The way he said it.
But that'll be a really good chat with him when we eventually speak to him, because I do agree that why not make really good beer? Like you're fermenting it yourself is like the difficult part, like the correct fermentation.
I think that's the thing.
Cold crashing it correctly,
Yeah.
getting on CO2 correctly, are all the major parts of brewing this.
Yeah.
One thing the wort is like the easiest bit probably.
Yeah, I don't think he fully understands how many options there are on the cold side of fermentation. Like if he's worried about, I don't want to speak like he's
no. We'll ask
here either. But like we've got you can do a stainless conical versus plastic.
Yeah, plastic.
You can do plastic
Some
versus
really good comparisons there, aren't
wood.
there?
You know, and ferment it in wood, and you can age it. You can add fruit.
Let's do some wood stuff.
I would love to. I really want to do that. The Selegno style.
I'll have to speak to a family member, see if they can get me some wood.
That'd be lovely.
Some barrels and stuff.
And let's explain why your family member would be good to speak to.
Because she's French.
I thought you were talking about the ones in the Barossa Valley, the wine region.
Oh, right. It's the other side of my family. I do have a stepmother that's French that, I don't think she does anymore, to be honest, but she was working in a wine barrel thing with the French. Anyway. But yes, also the Barossa I can speak to a couple of people.
I thought that's what we're going with.
We can do that. I'll pour my mismatch.
I don't think it's similar. But there's so completely out of context from me just there. I just took a sip of a lovely Mismatch Brewing Company Pale Ale. I'm so in love with their beer at the moment. I don't know why I steered away from them at all. Maybe
I need to be honest. I need to be honest.
Tell me, yeah.
This is an honesty, box. This podcast. I have never really liked the Mismatch Pale.
Okay. You don't have to pour that if you don't want to, by the way.
No. I haven't had one for ages because I'd never got it. A while ago, the problem I had with it was the same problem I had with the Pirate Life Pale.
Which is what?
That it was like a fucking double IPA.
Right, okay.
And I wasn't happy with that part. Like, I've told you the story 100 times. The brother-in-law came over and he was just gatewaying, and I said, have this, you'll love it. Like, it's a Pirate Life, before Pirate Life sold and stuff. And it was just blow your socks off, heavy, big. And he was like, I don't like that.
You understand why. You go, yep, that's
100%. I said, that's not what it should be. I agree. And I had that with this, and I was steering clear of it, but still having their other stuff. So still like them as a lot of their other beer they produce. But the Pale Ale was not one that I went near very often. So it's probably been, unless I've had it here pissed and I didn't know, but it's probably been a good few years since 3 or 4 years probably since I've had the Mismatch Pale. So this would be interesting.
I know when we had it actually. Remember when we were doing the like one of the early days before we started the podcast when we were really just getting into craft beer. This was we're getting into 8-9 years ago now.
Yeah.
When we were going to one of our houses and doing blind tastings of beers.
Oh, yeah,
do you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. And we would do I think we'd just watched the first Somme movie and loved that they could blind taste a wine and be like, it's from here, from here. So we pretended we knew what we were doing and how we could do it with beer. And I reckon that's when we maybe even first made the comparison from this beer to the Sierra Nevada Pale Ale. Mm. And I know that people are going to perhaps tell me how unsimilar they are. Because no one's.
Do you know what's really funny? I had a sip then and thought Sierra Nevada straight away.
Because it's such a malt-derived pale ale, right? You know how
it smells just like it.
To me,
it even looks just like it.
Looks same color. Because you're getting way more malt on the nose, in my opinion, than you are getting hop. Another similarity I made with the Necatron XPA. I said it wasn't close to the Pale Ale. I felt like it was like a session ale. The Necatron XPA 0.5 is the Mismatch session ale. Do you know what I mean? Like that's...
Yeah.
Or the old session ale. Whereas this, I don't think the Pale Ale is a dialed up session ale. Like, do you know what I mean? Am I making sense? I know I'm saying a lot of things maybe the wrong way around.
What did you say? The Pale is not a dialed up session ale?
Yeah. I don't think it tastes like a dialed up mismatched session ale. Different.
No.
colour,
No.
different everything.
No. It's a different beer.
Yeah.
Entirely. I think.
I'm
glad you reintroduced me to this.
Yeah, do you like it?
Yeah, I do.
This is $21 for a 6-pack from Dan Murphy's. And that's the difference. It's like, I could go get, a 4-pack of beers for $26, or I can get a 6-pack of these for $21.
Yep.
And they sit in the fridge.
It's good value.
My father-in-law drank most of them when he was here for Christmas. Yeah. I got him on session ales. Drinker. He's not, but he enjoyed it. It was fantastic.
Good boy.
So, yeah.
Very nice. That's I do love the colour of it, like that copper, like
got the goldy
copper. It's a lovely colour.
And I love the way that you just flip that around a little bit, and that head returns. Yeah. It's the cappuccino foam, which we did manage to get on the Necatron XPA.
Definitely.
But when you even put it to your ear, and you can just hear them like prickling away. Sorry, I don't like to be that guy on radio. But yeah. And you just hear it slowly go.
Lovely beer. I wanted to talk a little bit more. Do we have time?
Yeah.
About the Necatron.
Yeah.
So I just want you to explain to me, because I was getting a little bit lost in the debris that ended up in it.
Yes.
So at the end of that, all said and done, it was because of the tube that obviously sucks it out of the keg.
The dip tube, yeah.
The dip tube was too close to the bottom.
Yes.
Where...
but I had already pulled out
so much from the fermenter
4 different times. So when I rack from the fermenter to the keg,
yep.
I use a racking cane with what's called it's got like a debris cap on the bottom.
Yep.
So you basically can't pull anything in, and we use those a lot with fruited beer and stuff like that, so you don't get any pips. But that was still getting washed, so I didn't have the debris cap on. So I was supposed to be a lot more careful when I racked from fermenter to keg, in that I should have been holding the wand and just kind of like carefully pulling my work off of the fermenter into the keg, right? Got distracted, dropped the wand in, and the wand pulled up hop debris and true, right?
Yep.
That went into the keg, but I thought if we chilled it and it settled on the very bottom... we wouldn't have a problem because the dip tube already sticks up from the bottom just a little bit. Yeah. What I did was, so the dip tube normally goes like that and finishes there. So for those listening, it normally finishes, half an inch from the bottom. What I did was I bent the dip tube up. So instead of it facing down, it actually faces to the side.
More of a right
so
angle.
Yeah. So it's maybe an inch above the bottom and pulling from the side. But now what's happening is it's still pulling that debris through that dip tube, which it will. Yeah. But it's not clogging the keg post. Yeah. It's not clogging up my tap. But we're getting these tiny little flecks of yeast come through. We're not getting any hop debris. But we're getting the yeast come through the whole system, sitting in our glasses and drinking it. It's perfectly fine. But it
was barely noticeable.
It's just one of those things. I don't like presenting a beer to someone. You're fine, but
but someone I didn't know would be like, there's dirt in my beer.
Why have you got... Yeah.
I understand
I like to explain that.
For sure.
Like, when we have a lovely, expensive wine, I have no problem drinking the bottom of the bottle where all the grape debris and yeast sits.
Did I cork the fuck out of a wine last night? Night before. Half of it, just tried. I had a couple and I put and obviously the corkscrew right on the side. I got half of it out, tried to get it, and I had to, I've got like a sieve style set up and,
Didn't work?
It did, but there was still a bit of cork.
Can you not decant into... I've got a lovely... I'll show you after. I've got a lovely decanter with a stainless head, so if you can pour through the top, it catches all that, but I don't
it's got like a... Anyway.
It's still got through?
Yeah, little bits.
Really?
Firstly, I didn't care, and I poured it into a glass, and I started drinking. It was... Then I decanted it back into another glass, and poured it back into that glass, because I had my favourite glass.
Okay.
Yeah, it was the same as Gorge. It was lovely, actually.
Okay, good.
Maverde. Back to beer.
Andrew, what do we think? Have we kind of discussed any more questions about the Necatron XPA? I'm going to keep doing fresh work kits, by the way. I love them. I think they're great.
I can't wait to do one. That'll be great. I think we covered a lot of it. I think we covered the aroma, mouthfeel, flavour.
One thing I will mention. The fresh work kits.
Cost.
The cost is about $50. For me, that's not bad.
That's not bad. Yeah.
When you make roughly 20, 21 litres, an average carton is $7
$80 as well.
And it's $70.
Yeah, for that, how nice that was.
But for $50, you get 3 cartons.
And you get 3 cartons, yeah.
Right, which is fantastic. It's more just for those of you who, or not for those of you, but if you are planning on entering it into competition, that is not allowed.
You can't. Yeah.
No. So you are not allowed to enter a fresh work kit into competition, as per the BJCP guidelines. You're allowed to enter kit beers, but not fresh work kits, and that's, I guess, fair. It's that one extra step towards just having someone else brew your beer for you. I know there's a lot to do and control on the cold side, but that's just something to think about. If you are planning to,
I agree that you shouldn't be allowed to enter it.
Yeah, I will look at it.
It needs to be strict for
lazy, but like, I'm not a lazy brewer, but that was not a lot of work. I think it took me 3 minutes to brew it.
Yeah.
Quotation marks. Yeah. You do still have to do a lot of things right to get a good beer, but not. Yeah. It's not making your own beer.
No.
So, but to have around the house to drink this lovely alternative to kits and bits beer.
Yeah, absolutely. Thoughts? Nah, lovely, mate. Bloody, you can't. For the ones we've had so far from that particular all in,
yeah.
Fucking can't fault them really. They've been great. Yeah, excellent.
Lovely. Level 1 done.
Level 1 is done. Well done. I've just noticed poor George's head's been on.
Yeah, I tried to strategically put her head.
I just noticed.
Yeah. So my darling Georgia, if you're watching this via video, I have a couple of bottles of mead for Andrew to take home, and my darling Georgia's head is plastered on the side of those. It was a very unflattering photo of her. Thank you, my dear. All right, mate.
See you at the bottom.
See ya. Come on down,